What's going on, guys? Today I'm doing another versus Montenegro versus Croatia. In this video, I'm going to be focusing more on the coastal part of Croatia. I'm talking about mainland Croatia and Montenegro, mainland Montenegro as well, the coastal part. Going into the entire country, focusing on the entire country is going to take forever, and this video might be 3 hours long, so I want to keep it as short as possible. We'll talk a little bit about historical gems and the attractions in both places where it would be suitable for you, especially if you're a historical buff. Where has the better beaches, affordability, which is very important. Obviously, visa requirements, prices, time to explore, time to visit, how long you might need in the country, safety, nightlife, and so on and so forth. So let's get into it. This might cause a little bit of uproar with this opinion right here, but when it comes to coastal beauty, Montenegro wins, man. Montenegro is absolutely beautiful. The coastal part of Montenegro, just taking that coastal drive. Again, Montenegro is right next to Croatia. So obviously it's going to be somewhat similar in look. Generally, it's going to be similar. It looks similar, but the coastal part of Croatia, I'm talking about all the way from Opinja, my pronunciation is horrible, all the way to Split, all the way to Dubrovnik, that whole long ass coastal drive. Beautiful. Don't get me wrong, absolutely beautiful. But Montenegro is something about Montenegro. Montenegro is a lot smaller, so you can really actually do it and drive it in like a day and really see it. And there's something about a sparkle about it, and just for me, Montenegro just it's a little bit more beautiful. I know a lot. I can hear you guys in the comments already going, nah, Croatia. And again, I'm talking about mainland. I'm not talking about goddamn islands. Islands is something else. Islands, you're talking about island hopping, but Croatia wins hands down. Croatia has some of the best islands in all of Europe because it has so many different islands, so many different selections. Obviously, again, if we're talking about island hopping and beautiful islands, Greece wins. I mean, that's my opinion. So, historically, as far as gems and things, obviously Croatia has a longer history. Again, too, if you don't know your history, the Soviet Union, all that, Montenegro is part of it. Anyway, well, let's not get into all of that. But I'm just saying, like, if you're a historical buff, obviously you Game of Thrones lovers, you know, it was filmed in Dubrovnik. So all you dragon seekers and dragon heads, you gotta run to Dubrovnik. And just because of that, okay, of course, Dubrovnik was very known before that. Don't get me wrong, guys that live in Dubrovnik. But let me tell you something. As soon as the damn Games of Thrones or all that shit came out, Dubrovnik blew up. It's a fact for the rest of the world. So now everyone goes to Dubrovnik. And because of that, guess what? Prices are peaked. So thank you, Games of Thrones, and thank you for all you goddamn tourists that go to the same places over and over again. So now prices are like unbelievable in Dubrovnik. Split also, because Split is in the middle of the coastal side of Croatia, and it's bang in the middle, and it's like the most known party spot. So it's not only nightlife, it's beautiful, there's beaches. So Split is also another very known destination for tourists, and guess what? Prices also are spiked. So if you want a nice, holistic, more genuine, normal coastal experience of Croatia, my recommendation, like what I did, because I like it chilled, is go to Opija, which is upper in the coast, starting of the coast. Absolutely beautiful. It's not only beautiful, it's got really nice beaches. Well, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. It got some really nice beaches, beautiful water, clear water, and people out there so cool, chilled, and amazing. You can still have a little bit of nightlife, nothing like Split, but still very cool. So that would be my little, 2 cents. So if you want to have more, you want a little bit of chill, but also want some things to do. You don't want that whole crazy stuff like Split, then Opija is a good one. But anyway, of course, you got Montenegro. Montenegro is a lot smaller, so which is great because now you can do all of Montenegro. You can see all of it in a couple of days, which is great. But Kotor is like more the center of Montenegro. This is where more the history is, and the old town and the castle and blah 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 blah. You got the big ass boat. There's just a big ass boat right opposite Kotor Old Town. So there's a huge boat you can go on, go check out. You can go eat on it. You can go damn club on it. You can do all kinds of shit on it. And this is dope, man. So that Montenegro Bay Kotor is absolutely beautiful. It's like comes from the sea and goes into a bay. It's absolutely beautiful. Something you gotta see. Where you can actually really good is going like a day trip and do like a boat trip around the bay. Again, too, probably go online and book it, because if you go on a day, you could get scammed or you could get a good deal. I don't know. Now, better beaches. Again, too, this might hurt some feelings, guys, but I'm talking again, too, guys. I am talking specifically at Croatia mainland, not the damn islands, okay? Not the islands, the mainland. Montenegro got better beaches. Montenegro's got better beaches. And again, I'm from the Caribbean, man, so I know a proper beach. So anything that doesn't have sand for me is not a proper beach. But hey, no disrespect. Hey, it's all different. Nothing more annoying than pebbles and rocks. I hate pebbles and rocks. I hate that shit with a passion. But one thing I do like about Montenegro and Croatia, depending where, is they have little pebbles. So you can still walk it. It's hard on your feet, but you can still walk and you still swim, and you don't have to run into like rocks. I'm not saying Montenegro don't have rocks. There's some beaches. I went to, I went to a beach anyway in I'm gonna put it up here actually. Beach in Montenegro, and it was beautiful, but there was rocks, and so depending where you are, you could just dive into a rock. So you gotta be careful depending. But the other beaches I went to, absolutely beautiful. And one particular was absolutely stunning, beautiful clear water, very stable. You can swim up deep, clear water, very little pebbles, so it felt like sand, which is absolutely beautiful. All through up the coast, all the way to close to Split. I went to different beaches in Croatia, and none of them had sand. That's one, all pebbles. Very beautiful clear water, but for me, again, because Montenegro is small, they just had a little bit more selection in beaches, so which is easier to get to. So better beaches, Montenegro. Affordability. Now, obviously, you would think Montenegro, right? Yeah, that's as soon as I said it, you said, oh, Montenegro for sure. Now, my last trip to Montenegro, I was so alarmed at how expensive Montenegro was. I thought, obviously, I've been to Croatia. Croatia was expensive, depending where you go. But I obviously thought Montenegro, a smaller country, not as well known, is gonna be a lot cheaper. Boy, was I wrong. And again, so I went peak of the season. So I went in July. Obviously, that's prime summer, right? Okay, cool. I would never do that again. I would never go to Montenegro unless I lived there, which is, I don't know, I married Montenegro. I don't know, but I doubt I would live there. But if I did, I would not go there in July or peak summer ever again, because one, it was super expensive. Two, it's just a small country, so it was super packed. It was busy everywhere. Attractions, going shopping, going to the old town, getting to restaurants, all that stuff was just busy and packed. So and very expensive. It's a lot more expensive than I thought. Prices came very close to Croatia. But again, too, when it comes to accommodation, well, let's say food and accommodation is cheaper in Montenegro. I wouldn't say a lot cheaper, but it was cheaper. When I visited and looked at both places, accommodation-wise, they were kind of close, man. I'm not gonna lie. The expensive part of Croatia, I think, you do your research, is Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik prices are very expensive, especially accommodation. From Airbnbs to hotels, very expensive. So Montenegro generally be cheaper. All of Montenegro will be cheaper than Croatia for sure. But again, too, you have to remember, if you in the capital of Montenegro, that'll be a lot cheaper. So just the coastal part, which is the peak part, which is where most of the tourists will go, so that would be a lot more expensive. And depending on the season, prices would be jacked. So don't think you're gonna go to and get a nice, cheap, low budget holiday. No, it's pretty expensive, especially in the summer. But food-wise, Montenegro is cheap as well, but also pretty expensive compared to other places. Like, for instance, Montenegro compared to Portugal, Algarves are cheaper, which is weird because Algarves are way more known and way more touristy than Montenegro. So again, too, like I've done in my past video, I asked many people in Montenegro, is it because of it was the peak season that it was that expensive? So some of the people replied and said, yes, in the peak it's expensive. Non-peak season, is it cheaper? I still haven't got that information. So please, in the comments, Off peak, non-summer, non-peak summer. Is it that still that expensive? Is it cheaper? Croatia, I know for sure it's definitely cheaper than off peak. Again, so it depends where you go. Dubrovnik in Split still is very high price wise, but everywhere else in the coast, like Opija, is a lot cheaper. It's a lot more affordable. So again, if you got a car, I'll say stay outside of Split and Dubrovnik and just go visit Split and Dubrovnik. It's a lot more affordable and cheaper. Day things to do, day trips. I'm not gonna go into depth with that because obviously Croatia's winning hands down because Croatia's bigger, so there'll be more things to do. So I'm not gonna go into that. Visa requirements. This is a good one, guys. Visa requirements. Basically, Croatia and Montenegro, you do not need a visa if you're in the EU, a UK citizen, or US citizen. You don't need visas for either Croatia or Montenegro, which is absolutely dope. So not worrying about visas and all that's not great. Mind you, Montenegro has EU kind of policies, but they're not actually in the EU. So bear that in mind. But yeah, so if you're EU, UK, US, you're good. You don't need any visas. But outside of that, guys, you need visas. Sorry. No, guys, just a little bit of a disclaimer. The game 2 during the coastal part of Croatia, Dubrovnik and Split is going to be the most expensive. Everywhere else is not as bad. It's not a bad, pretty reasonable accommodation, food, nightlife is very reasonable and not as expensive as Split and Dubrovnik. Whereas in Montenegro, summertime is pretty peak. And depending where you are, again, also, Kotor, Bovda, and Tilvat, those are the 3 main known places by the coast, and those are the most expensive parts. So if you stay anywhere else, it generally accommodation will be cheaper and food should be cheaper. But again, I visited a couple of beautiful towns outside of those places and it was still pretty expensive. So again, I think peak season, guys, that lows, especially that summer time in Montenegro from June all the way to August, it's peak and very hot and very expensive. It's not expensive, it's very expensive actually for what you would think for Montenegro. So bear that in mind. After that, it's actually not too bad. So maybe you can go just before the winter kicks in or just before the summer kicks in, might be a better time. Time to just explore both places. I would say Croatia, mainland, coastal part, you would need about 7 to 10 days. That'll be perfect because again, that coastal part is huge, especially if you start the top and finish all the way in Dubrovnik. It's a long ass drive. So you should need some days to explore different parts, especially the 3 main parts of the coastal part. So you definitely need about 7 to 8, 10 days. And just, you don't want to go day every day. So like a couple of days one place, couple of days. I think 7 to 10 days is good. Whereas Montenegro, 4 to 7 days is more than enough. You can realistically, I was there for 7 days. I was there for 7 days. It was fine for me because I love beaches. So every day I went to the beach. So a couple of days I just chilled and I just wanted to relax and chill and do nothing. But realistically, if you are a person and you want to do everything, you can get everything done in 4 days, literally, even 3. It's not a big country. So realistically, 4 days, you got to hire a car. You can pretty much do everything in 4 days. But why? Why do you want to rush around and do everything in 4 days? You can cover everything in 7 days. Have a couple of relaxing days on the beach, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Take a boat out, stuff like that. So just take your time and do 7 days. I say 7 days in Montenegro is perfect. But bear in mind, accommodation is going to be expensive, especially if you go peak summer. So my recommendation to you, check out my other videos, is stay outside of the 3 main parts, get a car and drive into all these different places. That will save you a lot of money. And same thing with Croatia. Stay outside of the main parts, the most expensive parts, which would be Split and Dubrovnik, and rent a car and just drive into those places. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Support the channel. Why not? It's only takes you damn near half a second. Just hit it. Just tap it. There you go. Just tap it. What I try to do here is just trying to give you as much information, recommendations, and tips, especially if you're a newbie and going to these countries for the first time. You have a little bit of a heads up of going into the country and know what you can or should expect, and it'll help you navigate around these places easier. So that's what I try to do. So again, too, if you're not subscribe to the channel, support the channel so I can bring you more videos. Till next time, peace.